You know the woman. I'm guessing you know exactly who I'm about to talk about. She's someone you might see at work, at the gym, maybe it's someone at your kid's school. She looks the same in July as she does in January. You don't see these dramatic swings. No, well, I gained 10 pounds over the holidays and now I'm starting my new diet on Monday. Just consistent, steady, comfortable in her own skin. And the wild part is, at least from where I sit in coaching, when you actually pay attention to how she lives, it doesn't match the story that a lot of you have built in your heads about how she stays that lean. She eats desserts, not like once a year on a special occasion, like actually eats desserts. She has ice cream when she wants to have ice cream. She goes out to dinner and doesn't white knuckle her way through a meal or a menu. On vacation, she's not the person counting calories at the resort or finding a gym at midnight because she missed her workout. She actually enjoys the trip. She eats the food. She moves around a little bit, takes walks, maybe does one workout when she feels like it. I'm talking about on vacation. And then when she gets home, she just continues on with her life, right? She doesn't talk about being on a diet. You've never heard her mention intermittent fasting or the latest detox. She's not consistently analyzing her body or posting about her fitness journey. She just seems to exist in a place of confidence and stability that most of us are desperately trying to figure out. So we do what we do as humans. We try to reverse engineer her, right? We try to figure out what is the thing that she's doing. Maybe it's incredible genetics, right? That's the first thing that people go to, I think, in these situations. Some people are just built this way, or whatever you want to say. Maybe she's found the perfect diet that every other person in this world is missing. Or maybe she has insane discipline and willpower that the rest of us just didn't get. She obviously has discovered some secret, a specific meal plan, a particular workout protocol, a supplement. Something unlocks the way of her being. But I'm here to tell you right now, almost everything we believe about that woman is wrong. Welcome back to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, the podcast where we have honest conversations about food, body, exercise, and mindset. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, licensed associate marriage and family therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. And we have candid conversations about how your mind, your body, and your identity are one integrated system and teach you how to treat it accordingly. So if you're a high-performing individual who loves educational, thoughtful, and no bullshit conversations around health and wellness, you're in the right place. Here we believe what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. So let's have a conversation about that. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. I am so excited you took this time out for yourself to learn something about your physical and mental health. And this is the place where we do that. This is the space where we talk about thoughts that shape your body, your behavior, your life. And I'm Christina Hathaway. I'm a licensed associate marriage and family therapist and health coach here in the state of Arizona. And I spend time working with high achieving women who are tired of the diet cycle. So if that's you, welcome. If you haven't already, do this right now. We're going to just pause. We're going to hit that follow button if you're listening between your ears on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you're watching me on YouTube, right down here, it says subscribe or whatever. Hit that. Hit every button, especially the 5-star rating and review. That helps me get this out to more women because we need more people to hear this story. Today, we are going to completely blow up the myth about women who stay lean and look healthy year-round. We're going to talk about what these women are actually doing, what they don't do, and more importantly, why what they do works for them. By the end of today, you're going to understand that maintaining a lean body isn't about extraordinary effort or secret knowledge. It's about ordinary habits repeated so consistently that they become part of who you are. And if that sounds boring to you, well, guess what? It is. It's the whole point. And I live this life. I have friends who live this life. It is tried and true. And so let's get into the work. I want to first start though today is talking about kind of the myth, right? Because I think when we see someone who is fit, like the people I talked about in the intro, we kind of make up a story, right? We ask ourselves, what is that lean, healthy woman like? What must she be doing? And here's what comes up, right? It's usually the latest diet. You think probably keto. Maybe she's doing some version of intermittent fasting. Probably she's on a detox, doing a cleanse, juice fasting, GLP-1, something, right? She's probably doing high intensity workouts every single day in the gym, completely leaving herself destroyed and exhausted on the gym floor. She never eats sugar. She never eats bread. She definitely doesn't eat any carbs. She's probably got an incredible genetics that allow her to stay lean without even trying. And underneath all of that, she must have the discipline of Superwoman. She is a superhuman, like willpower on a different level that none of the rest of us possess, right? This is what we've all constructed. This image of a woman who is doing something extraordinary, something you're definitely not doing, something we're not disciplined enough or strong enough or committed enough to do. I hear it. Oh, I just wish I had your willpower, strength, body. And as someone who gets comments like this, you would think, oh, that's so nice. But it's like, yes, thank you for the compliment. However, I'm not doing anything crazy. And those types of compliments kind of ensue that you think I have this extraordinary approach to my health. I don't, right? And where does this come from? Where does this come from? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly where. Social media, Instagram, TikTok, fitness influencers, these transformation stories, the before and after photos, the fucking workouts where we're in a plank, in a squat, up, down, moving all around, jumping up. It's like we're doing the fucking hokey pokey with weights. Like, come on. Those workouts don't work, but you see someone sweating. I was watching the Hulk Hogan documentary, and they would literally spray him with water so he looked like he was sweating. Don't you think they're probably doing that too? Right? I've lost 60 pounds in 6 months testimonial, the extreme protocols, the extreme routines, the fasted cardio at 5 a.m, the elimination diets, the detox teas, the reset your body challenges, so on and on and on and on and on. All of that is what gets engagement. That's what goes viral. Nobody's posting a video of themselves eating the same breakfast that they ate yesterday and the day before that. Nobody's creating content around, I went to bed at the same time again, and it was totally uneventful. There's no drama and consistency. There's no story if you have a routine. People don't like clicks, right? But here's the thing about humans. We're attracted to secrets. We're drawn to the shortcut. We want to believe that there's something we're missing, some piece of information that if we just knew it, would change everything. The hack, right? The workout method, the supplement, what the fuck ever, right? Some secret. Because if it's a secret, it means that it's possible. And if it's something extraordinary, that means we just have to find it. The truth, though, is it's way, way less exciting. The truth is this shit is boring. The woman who stays lean year round, or women, sorry, aren't doing things that are these exceptional, extraordinary, out of the ordinary workouts. They're literally doing ordinary things over and over and over again. If you want to sit with that for a second, I hate that I had to bust your bubble, because if you're someone who's been chasing this magical secret, you may not want to hear that. Right? It doesn't feel good to hear it. These women do the same grocery shopping, the same stores, the same aisles. They know exactly what they're buying. It's not a surprise every week. Same vegetables, same proteins, same base foods. Then they go home and they cook similar meals. Not the same meal, because that would get boring, but similar meals. A rotation of meals. They have 3 to 4 breakfast options they cycle through. Same with lunch, same thing with dinner. They know how to make their meals. They do not need recipes. They don't even really need a scale at this point. They just make them. They work out consistently because it's not this extreme, exhausting thing. Maybe it's 3 days a week, maybe it's 5, but it's regular. It's not about crushing themselves in the gym. It's about showing up to move, to strength train, because that's what builds and maintains muscle. They walk, they sleep, they drink water, they manage stress in a basic way. Do you know how exciting that is? Do you know how unsexy it is to tell someone that the dream body you built is by eating Greek yogurt with berries with some walnuts every single morning for the past, 3 years? Maybe not every morning, but every other morning. Or that you've been doing the same strength training routine with small progressions for, 20 years? Or that you go to bed at 8:30 almost every single night, even when you don't have to or want to, because you value sleep. This is my life. And this is a life of my friends who stay lean. No one's going to buy that fitness program based on this. No one's going to buy this program. No one is going to call a course, like do the same thing every day for years and you'll see results. That will not go viral. People don't want it, but they want the end result. And here's the interesting thing about boring. Boring removes decision fatigue. Think about it. If you have to decide every day what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, where you're going to work out, whether you're going to have coffee or tea, how you're going to structure your day, that's fucking exhausting. And if you already have a busy brain like mine, it's very exhausting. Your brain is constantly working. Your willpower is being depleted when you're doing that. And by the time evening comes around, you don't have the energy to make good choices because you've made choices and decisions throughout the day. I've talked about this before. This is not new for you guys. But the women who have figured this out, they've automated the decisions that don't really matter. Again, they decided a long time ago, I'm going to rotate these breakfasts. Decision made. Now they don't have to think about breakfast anymore. It's not something that takes energy. It's just what they do, what I do. Same workout routine. Same with their sleep schedule, right? Same with their morning routine. This automates the part that could derail them or you. It removes the place where most people fail, which is in that decision fatigue and the system that keeps that at bay. So boring doesn't feel boring to these women. It feels actually like freedom. But let's talk about how they get there, because yes, it does require this thing called patience. I think it's important to talk about the fact that this just doesn't happen overnight. This is another myth that I think we need to demolish. We tend to assume that these habits happen fast and that they're created quickly. Someone said habits can be created in 21 days. That's actually not true in regards to the research. It takes roughly a year for your brain to create a habit that becomes default. But we in our brains assume that someone woke up one day and decided to become lean and disciplined, and suddenly they just were. That's not what happened. These women, myself included, have built these habits one decision at a time over many years. I need you to hear that, you guys. One decision at a time over many years. That's why when I have clients who've been with me for a long time, like we're still working on things and they feel like, oh, I should be there already. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is actually, you're actually exactly where you need to be. And there's a huge difference between I'm going to lose weight and who do I want to become, right? The first one is a goal. It's external and it's temporary. When you hit it, you're done. Then what happens? You go back to how you were living before because the goal was complete. The second one, however, is an identity. It's internal and it's durable. The woman who stays lean year round didn't start by thinking, I need to exercise 5 times a week. They started by thinking, I want to be someone who takes care of their body through movement. They didn't start thinking, I need to stop eating dessert. They started by thinking, I want to be someone who makes intentional choices about food while still enjoying life. Can you hear the difference? The identity-based habits are sticky because you're connecting to how you see yourself. I just talked about this on the perfectionism podcast. We can utilize identity in our favor here. You're not doing something because you have to. You're doing it because it's part of who you are. I cannot tell you how true this is for me. And my story is a bit different. Are you tired of wasting your money on diet and exercise program that leave you feeling pretty much the same? You're spinning your wheels, but the food noise is still there, the body dysmorphia, the overtraining and not seeing results, the emotional eating, it's all still there. But you don't think you have an option because they're pretty much all the same. What if the next program you invest in combines therapeutic practice with exercise and nutrition science and behavioral change? What if this program focuses on what you say in your mind so that you can have a better relationship on what you see in the mirror? Hi, I'm Christina Hathaway, licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, and I'm the founder of the Mindset and Matter coaching program. Here, we see your mind, your body, and your identity as one integrated system and treat it as such. We focus on your self-defeating beliefs and understand how they impact your behaviors and thus the outcomes that you feel stuck in. We do this through the Mindset Method, my psychological curriculum that I've curated with over 15 years experience and adapted it to you, the average woman, and this coaching program. This is one method, one program, one coach, and let's face it, the one area you've probably never done the work on. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels and wasting your money, check out the link below for more information. I started with those thoughts, I don't even think I started. It's been ingrained in me because I've always been active throughout my life. And for me, this shift happened through distortion. It happened through a distorted relationship with my body and food, and finally getting to a place of realizing that I had to work even harder to maintain that physique. And it was exhausting and I hated it and it wasn't sustainable. Going through that process and finally facing reality brought me to, who do I want to be? I want to be someone who is strong. I want to be someone who is independent as they grow older. I want to be someone who, can support women and be a physique that is not this twig. I want to be someone who has a great relationship with food, that I can eat the foods that I love. I'm going to get those nourishing foods in, so on and so forth. So for me, it wasn't necessarily I started with this kind of affirmation. I had to go through hell and realize what I was doing to myself to get to where I'm at today. So I just want to throw that in there. But really, it's also about patience. It takes years to build. 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe even longer. I did not wake up this way. I was a dancer for the entirety of my youth. I have been muscular because of that, right? It's not that these women woke up one day and became this version of themselves. It's over time, through consistent small decisions, they became someone different over that time. And most people are not patient enough for that. They want the transformation story. They want the dramatic before and after. They want to be able to say, I changed my life in 90 days. And there's power in that narrative. There's pride in that narrative, but it's not sustainable, which is why most people lose weight and gain it back. The patience piece is actually the secret you're looking for. Not the diet, not the workout, the patience that lets your identity shift slowly through these repeated behaviors. So let's go into them. What do women do who stay lean year round? This is the do's. Let's talk about the actual habits. And I'm going to slow down here because this isn't a list I want to rush through. These are real life pieces of themselves. They're pieces of me. What do they do? Number one, we're eating mostly whole foods, not perfectly, mostly. I'm talking about 80 to 90% of my diet is actual food. Vegetables, meat, fish, eggs, rice, potatoes, nuts, whole grains, fruits, yogurt, cheese, real shit, real food. not processed, not ultra palatable food products. They're not engineered to, they're not that engineered food, because what I've realized in my life, that those foods make me want to eat more of them. And more importantly, I and my friends have moved away from processed healthy foods. A lot of those Franken foods are terrible for your gut microbiome. They actually don't provide you with the amino acids that your body requires, because those aminos are very much processed down to make the bar or the Pop Tart or whatever it is. So we're actually not even eating those unless we're in a bind. Okay. But more importantly, the other 10 to 20% is life, whatever we want. If we want the dessert, if we want the pizza, the wine, the French fries, that's the freedom part. So that's how we eat. But we're also adding in protein and fiber, at almost every meal. Almost every meal. This matters because, of course, protein keeps me satisfied. I know that. Fiber keeps me full. When I am satisfied and full, I don't think about food constantly. I don't have blood sugar crashes that lead to intense cravings. I have stability when it comes to my food. It's not complicated, right? Chicken and broccoli, eggs and toast, fish and sweet potatoes, steak and green beans. There's no mystery to it. I even had, what did I have this morning? I had sweet potatoes. I made a bowl. Sweet potatoes, ground beef. I've been doing this ground beef thing since I got back from Italy, because even though it's not really Italian, I really like the way they eat there. So anyway, ground beef, eggs, feta cheese, tomatoes, avocado, 6 grams of protein or 6 grams of fiber. I think it's like, I didn't do as much egg whites, so it's probably like 50 grams of protein. So good. So good, right? And here's the thing. Another thing that we do is we keep our meals simple, but they don't necessarily have to be boring. I interview a lot of women and I ask them, like, what do you eat most days? And a lot of the women that I meet think that they have to create this like 5-course meal every single day of their lives and make it this elaborate thing. One of my clients recently said that. She's like, when she was listening to the podcast and she said, you said something that they keep it simple. It's so important. Keep it simple, but that doesn't mean it has to be boring. Keeping it simple just means I find those recipes that I enjoy, that are simple to make, that taste good and keep me satisfied. And when they stop keeping me satisfied, then I might rotate one back in. I know I sound like a broken record. I know I just recently talked about this, but it's so important, you guys. It's so, so important. And when I talk to my friends, or if you ask me, like, what do you eat? I will literally say I eat the same breakfast almost every single day, or I'll get into these these patterns, where I will eat the same breakfast for like 2 weeks and then move on to a new breakfast or rotate the next one in, right? Because I have 3 to 5 breakfasts. I know you guys know this, right? And then the same with lunch. Right now, my lunch, oh, it's so good. I have tuna in olive oil. I drain it. I put in probably a half cup of Greek yogurt, fresh dill, feta cheese, cucumber. I should probably put some garlic in there. Garlic, salt, pepper. Whisk that baby up. And then I put it on either sourdough and some lettuce and tomato, or I'll put it on some wasa breads, like 3 of them with a little Laughing Cow on it. Oh, it's so good. It's so easy. So that's what I'm rotating. I'll probably eat that for the rest of the week. And then dinners. Like I told you guys before, Mark and I have dinners. They're not creative. They're not crazy. We rotate through them. They're tostadas, tacos, pastas. We have 3 different types of pastas. And then we do stuffed potatoes. We have 2 different types of stuffed potatoes. And we have either burrito bowls, tacos, or tostadas, which are all basically the same ingredients. I said a lot more than 3 to 5, but they're kind of the same thing. So that's it. He knows how to make them. I know how to make them. It makes our lives so much easier. If you have kids, they're still fun. The kids can still put their own toppings on things like tacos, like tostadas, like burrito bowls. They can top them, even pastas. They can put some toppings on that. You can make it fun. Pasta's fun for families too. Plus, I have a great mac and cheese recipe that has a lot of protein and fiber. Anyway, we keep it consistent, right? When you eat simple meals, you know the portions of those meals, you know the nutrition in those meals, you know what you're getting, you know that you like them, right? There's no guessing. You're not trying to figure it out while you're completely fucking hungry, standing in the fridge. Your brain is overwhelmed. You're like, I have no room in my capacity to make this decision on what to make. So you sit there while you're eating cheese in the fridge and trying to figure out what to make, right? Right. You're also not trying to figure out the restaurant version of what you're going to make. Or more importantly, you're not trying to figure out if the restaurant version of what you ordered has a lot of oil in it or how many calories are in the sauce because you're prepping the food and you're eating the food at home. Not to say that we don't eat out, but I didn't add this in, but we're eating at home most of the time. I eat out on Saturdays. Sometimes we will order in on Friday nights. However, even that is the same. There are 3 to 5 places that we order from. Sushi, Outback, because we do their 6-ounce Victoria filet, baked potato, and a salad. That's what we get every single time. We will get Mexican food, but I know exactly what I get from the Mexican food place. I get a ground beef taco and a tostada, and then I have some chips and salsa. We'll do Chipotle, we'll do Cava, and that's really it, I think. Yeah. I didn't put that in here, but I think that's important to note too. What they're also doing is strength training 3 to 5 days a week. We're not doing these crazy hard workouts. We're not destroying ourselves. 3 to 5 days of moving weight, building muscle, and focusing on progressive overload. This means that we are getting stronger over time. We are not doing the same 15 to 20 pound dumbbells that we started doing 5 years ago. I saw this gal with a very big following, say that this pissed me off. She's like, what I do to keep myself fit, and I don't know what the fuck she was saying, but she's like, I strength train, but I don't lift very heavy. I use 15 pounds for my workout and I don't go higher than that. I'm like, are you an idiot? That's not how the body works. That's not how muscle breakdown works, and stressing muscle and building back stronger works. But she's got this huge following teaching women that. Now, that's great that the women are finally strength training, but they're going to plateau at a certain point, and homegirls over here preaching that. Anyway, the women who are lean year round, we're progressing. The strength goes up, muscle maintenance improves, and metabolism stays in a really, really great place. Another thing we're doing is we know that recovery matters. It matters, and this is the part that a lot of people miss. I fucking sleep. I tell you guys all the time, I get real sleep, 7 to 9 hours most nights. This is so important. I understand that recovery is where my body is changing, where change happens. I am not grinding 23 hours a day and sleeping an hour. Please don't do that. I prioritize my sleep. It is a non-negotiable to me and to the women who are staying lean year round. Now, you're probably saying, what about those in perimenopause? I'm going to hot take. The best thing you can do is just try to get the schedule the same. Make sure that you have the same wind down. You're waking up at the same time. Yes, I wake up with night sweats. I wake up, I kind of mess with my sheets, and I go back to sleep. I don't make it a thing in my head, right? I wake up sometimes and I go to the bathroom. I tell you guys my trick. I keep one eye closed. It fucking works. Or my other trick is if you wake up, chug water. Try those things. If it is still affecting your sleep, there is medications that you can take now to help with hot flashes. But I just wanted to say that. The other thing is that we walk. We're moving our bodies daily in ways that feel good, right? We're not trying to I don't know, we're just moving, right? Especially when we're recovering. Most of my activity and the activity of these women is not high intensity. It's like moderate to low intensity. It's consistent and it's sustainable movement. More importantly, all of us have our own daily non-negotiables. For one woman or one of the women, it could be I lift 3 days a week and I never skip that, right? For another one, it might be I always eat protein at breakfast and dinner. Another one might say I'm in a bed at 10:30 and I will protect that, right? These aren't rules that feel restrictive. They're foundations that feel supportive. For me, I am going to walk every single day. I'm going to get sunshine on my face. I'm going to drink at least 2, 3 of these Stanleys, and I'm going to get to bed by 8:30. Those are my non-negotiables. If I'm really sick, obviously I'm not going to walk, but not even when I have been sick, I'm walking, you know? And the interesting part is that these women don't rely on motivation because motivation is also inconsistent. It's not always there. It fluctuates. And I want you guys to realize that motivation is actually based on how you feel in any given day for any given reason, whether you've been fed or slept or whatever. What these women are relying on is systems. They show up because it's part of their routine, not because they feel like it. Some days feel incredible in the gym. Some days we're dragging in the gym, but it doesn't matter. The system keeps going. Basic, boring, but consistent. But I thought, you know what? Let me add what we don't do, what we're not doing. And this is actually just as important as what they are doing. I know I'm fluctuating between we, they, I. Just handle it. This might be just as important. What we're not doing is chasing fad diets. There's always that new diet that comes out that everybody's talking about. There's a celebrity who lost weight on it. She's seen the articles, the TikToks, the Instagram posts, and she doesn't do it. She doesn't try keto, even though everyone is doing it. She doesn't do carnivore because everyone's doing it. She doesn't do the latest elimination diet. She doesn't switch her protocols because she's found something that works for her and she sticks with, and it is sustainable. She doesn't constantly switch her programming in the gym or her workouts. You see these fitness trends all over Instagram. There's celebrity trainers promoting something, or you have influencers promoting someone, or everyone at the gym is talking about this new strength training program supposedly gives you results in 30 days. She doesn't switch. Today, I was watching a girl who was talking about her doctor keeps telling her to strength train. And so she's trying to find a strength training class. But every single class she was talking about was all dumbbells. So I just put in the comments, it's like, you need to find a class that has barbells because it sounds like you're pretty strong if you're almost maxed out at the weight in these dumbbell classes. I said, find somewhere with a barbell, do some squats, some deadlifts. I didn't say all of that, but this is a girl, again, who has a following on TikTok, and she's kind of pushing people to strength train, which is great. However, a lot of these classes are changing their programming every single day. Some of them run cycles, but most of them are changing their programming every single day. So you might be targeting the same body part back-to-back days and not giving yourself time to rest, right? Or you just aren't following a protocol that allows for the body to do what it needs to do when it comes to rebuilding back that muscle. So for the women who are staying lean year round, she's not switching. She's not constantly looking for a better option when it comes to her programming. She's staying consistent, and she's staying consistent with the boring shit. The squats, the deadlifts, the overhead press, the vertical press, the vertical pull, the horizontal press, the horizontal pull. Wow. She might do things like carries. She might do some core work, but that's it. And she is working through different phases of strength training. So she might be at a low rep, high weight. She might be at a mid rep, mid weight. She might be at high rep, low weight, excuse me. And then changing the rest times in between. There's going to be variation for that squat. We might do a traditional barbell squat. We might go into a reverse lunge. We might go into Bulgarian split squat. We might go into a leg press. We might go into a leg extension, right? All of those are underneath a quad dominant movement. See what I'm saying? So we're changing up the movement, but really we're staying within this structure, okay? And what we're not doing is destroying ourselves in the gym. There's this narrative that when you're huffing and puffing and you're sweating and you feel like you're going to fucking throw up, that you have better results. Nope, that's not actually true. It's not true at all. Working at high intensity every day is not sustainable. It's also not necessary. When you do that, you deplete all of the energy you have for the day. Your body then compensates by not having you move. That's why you get stuck on the couch. That's why you're not walking as much. Or you see how I talk with my hands. Like, this is because I have the energy to do it, because my workout today was 60 minutes, warm up and cool down. Actually, I had some core in there. I wasn't huffing and puffing. I was sweatier walking my dog outside this morning because it's fucking hot than in my workout in my home gym. Right? What they're doing is they're trying to move to get stronger, to maintain and build muscle mass. They understand that they need energy for the other 23 hours of their day. These women aren't like, not some of them are like me, but they have kids, they have jobs, they have lives. They can't exhaust themselves to be functional. Plus, when we exhaust ourselves like that, what happens? Because what I'm going to talk about next, when you exhaust yourself in a workout and you're probably not fueling yourself properly, you're reducing the energy to make good decisions. Okay? Your decision making comes from mental energy. Guess where that energy comes from? Your food and recovery. I know I have to say this several different ways. Hopefully it hits. Because what they're also not doing is skipping meals or under eating. And this is a big one. They don't think like, I'll eat, if I skip breakfast or if I eat less, then I'll lose weight faster. They eat enough to fuel their body. They eat enough to have the energy for their workouts. They eat enough to maintain their muscle mass. And they're not running on these 800, 10, 1,000, 1,200 calorie deficits. Absolutely not. They're eating in a way that is sustainable and nourishing, and it's probably a lot more than you think it is. They also don't panic or punish themselves after special events or vacations. I just went to Europe for 10 days and I ate everything. It was amazing. And I want you to hear this because this is so true. Like me, I went on vacation. I ate. I enjoyed food, wine, and fucking limoncello spritzes. Let me tell you, I'm obsessed. I did not have a gym where I was at, but I walked over 20,000 steps every single day. And I was there present with my friends, present with my husband. I was enjoying that experience. And I came home. And guess what? When I came home, I was bloated. I looked a little soft in my midsection. Did I panic? No. I know I didn't blow it. I don't need a detox. I don't need to fast or restrict. I don't need to start a new plan. I just came home and got right back into my routine. That's it. There's no drama in it, baby. There's no punishment in it. There's no detox. Nothing. No extreme recess set. I just returned home to what I normally do. That's it. And actually, because I was going on vacation, I returned home and I'm working out a day less. Yay. And that's the difference in the mindset of the women who are lean year round. Most women treat vacation or a special event like a derailment, like something went wrong, like you have to make up for it. So they enter into this like correction mode or this punishment mode. When you do that, obviously you're overcompensating. So you eat all this food, you enjoy yourself, and then you punish yourself afterwards. And so when you're punishing yourself, you're restricting, you're overdoing it. That is not sustainable. You're going to slip up. And because you're already in that all or nothing mindset. Because remember, the vacation was the all, the compensation is the nothing. Then we slip up. Then guess what happens? Boom. Now we go into fuck it's. And then we just repeat that cycle over and over again. Right. The women that I'm talking about, including myself, treat it like what it is, which is a normal part of life and a normal part of living. You went on vacation, you ate vacation food, now you're home, back to life, back to routine. Woo! And here, if I haven't really talked about it, is the biggest difference of what I've learned working not only with hundreds of women like this and teaching women how to become this, is that the women who stay lean year round are no better at dieting. They're better at returning. They're also really good at pivoting. It's really important to hear that they don't have some superior ability to stay perfect. They are no more disciplined in the way we typically think about discipline, right? I slip, they slip. I don't want to call it slip. We have those moments. We have meals that don't align with our usual plan. I will miss a workout. They have nights where we're sleeping poorly. They have weeks where things just feel off. And the difference is in what happens next. The perfectionistic, the all or nothing woman, here's her cycle. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Then something happens, a slip, we'll call it that. Maybe it's one meal, maybe it's a weekend, maybe it's one missed workout. And immediately her mind goes to, well, I've already blown it. I might as well keep going. She might start over Monday. She might quit, completely abandon what she wants to do until she restarts again. And we go right back into perfect plan until it stops working. And the cycle repeats, right? I talked about this last week. The women who are the leanest, their cycle is different. Consistent, then something happens. A slip, the exact same slip. One meal, one weekend, one missed workout. And her thought is, okay, that happened. Now I'm just going to continue. That's it. I haven't ruined anything. I don't need to start over. Or more importantly, they just pivot with what's happened. And they take what their routine was and they make a change to it, a new iteration of it, and they proceed forward. Because here's the thing, nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent when it comes to health and wellness. I guess I could say I've done the same fucking movements for 20 years now. So that's permanent. But I will say, as I get older and because of my knees, I am kind of moving away from like full depth barbell squats into more like hack squats, leg presses, box squats, just to protect my knees. However, what I meant by nothing is permanent is like your routine will work for you for a good amount of time until it doesn't, or you need to switch it up. But that switch up doesn't have to be an overhaul. And that's what women who stay lean year round and who are healthy year round, they are pivoting and they're making small adjustments when they pivot. They're not overhauling it, right? And the difference between the all or nothing and the women who are healthy year round is that cognitive flexibility. It's the ability to zoom out to see the one meal or the 1 week in context of the whole year or their whole life, literally, to understand that one thing never defines a trajectory, to be able to course correct very slightly without any drama or bullshit. This part of it is learnable. This is a skill that you can develop. Most of us have been trained to think in absolutes. You're either on the wagon or off the wagon. You're either on the diet or you've cheated. You're either good or you're being bad. And we think this dichotomy comes from being disciplined, that being able to stay in control is a strength. But that's actually the thing that trips all of you up. And I talked about it last time. I will say it again. Life isn't binary. Life is complicated. It is messy. And sometimes you eat the thing and sometimes you don't. And that's okay. One choice doesn't determine your identity. One meal doesn't determine your body. And 1 week doesn't determine your year. The identity that we talked about is built over time through accumulating choices, not through a perfect choice, not through flawless execution, not through the aggregate, through what you do most of the time. That's your identity, baby. That's what shapes your body too. The lean and healthy women year-round understand this on a deep level. So when they slip, they don't spiral. They don't question their identity. They don't revert to punishment and restriction. They simply return to who they are. And who they are is someone who eats well most of the time, someone who moves her body most of the time, someone who protects her sleep most of the time. That is the secret that everyone is looking for. Not how to be perfect, how to be resilient, and how to continue even after you're not perfect. What a great segue from last week's conversation. There might be an interview between this because I got it in today. I'm going to see where I'm going to put it, but you know what I'm talking about. So here's what we talked about today. The women who you see who are always looking lean, who always are healthy, who seem to figure it out. She's not operating from some place of exceptional discipline or superhuman willpower or secret diet knowledge or whatever the fuck you think she is. She's not genetically different than you. She doesn't have access to something that you do not have access to. Stop being a victim. Sorry, that was mean. But stop being a victim in this. What she has requires patience and time. She has done ordinary things for years. Ordinary shit. Boring stuff. Years of eating similar foods and moving her body and sleeping enough and managing stress. Years of developing the identity-based habits instead of goal-based ones, right? Or goal-based goals. Years of practicing cognitive flexibility so that one slip doesn't spiral into a complete abandonment of your health. The body you're chasing isn't built through this crazy intense effort. It's built through ordinary habits repeated long enough that they become part of who you are. Habits that feel normal, that are sustainable, that are your default. And I've talked about this a lot. So if you're tired of the cycle, if you're ready to stop restarting on Monday, if you want to be someone who looks the same in July as you do in January, the path is clear for you. It's clearer than you think, but it's not sexy. It's not a story. It's not viral. It's not all of that, but it works. I can tell you this. You don't need another diet. You need to become a different person. I shouldn't say that. You need to build a person who can do these ordinary decisions and have patience with them over time. So if you're listening to this and you feel like you want the support to actually build this, that is what my coaching program does for you. Whether it is the collective, it is the executive VIP days, or my full-blown concierge executive health program, we work with women exactly like you, the women who are done with the cycle, who want to build something that lasts. More importantly, as I mentioned, a lot of the women that listen to this podcast are very high-performing women. They're very busy. And everything I'm talking about in here actually saves you so much mental energy. You can be even better at the job that you're doing. I have my next cohort for the collective, which is an 8-week cohort, which teaches you cognitive flexibility in your nutrition and your exercise based on what's going on in your life. It is a very high level. It's not as obviously high touch as my concierge program. It's a high level version of what I do in concierge with my clients. If you're interested, please check out the show notes below. You can sign up now, and then you will receive emails on the next steps before we get started. That will be starting sometime mid-September. Other than that, as I mentioned in the beginning, if you love this show, please, please, please hit that follow button on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. If you love this even more, I'd love for you to hit that 5-star for a 5-star rating and review. Other than that, I'm going to leave you the same way I do every single week, reminding you, say it with me, that what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. Bye-bye.